GM, Fomoverse Radio. This is your show host, Austin Hambleton. Today we have the one, the only, Ervis the Great. What's cracking, brother?
Yo. What's happening? What's happening?
Hey, thanks for coming on the show, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. This is really cool for me because I've been following you in this account and I haven't seen all the different interviews you've done and things, but man, you got some pretty big names on the list. I'm
Hey,
I'm kind of humbled to be here, so thank you.
oh, thanks, brother. Yeah, we got a pretty booked out schedule, here over the next couple months, man. So it'll be interesting to see who these guests are coming out. Why don't we start out, Ervis, with a little bit about yourself? Maybe tell us, where you're from, if you like. What you do in IRL, and just maybe share a couple things.
Yeah, so I'm in the financial services world. I do financial planning with people. And by the way, this is strictly an opinion conversation. There's no financial advice of any kind being given. I'm not here to promote anything or anyone. Just sharing my opinion. So that being said, yeah, I, I I've been in the financial services world for about 15 years now, right out of college. So things are good. IRL, I have a decent, very, very good job. You know, I'm out here in Cleveland, Ohio, and everything's great. I uh, I got into the Web3 space like 2020, I want to say, January of 2020.
Woo!
Um, yeah, I on Nifty Gateway, and I see all the hate for Nifty Gateway lately, and rightfully so because they've been fucking shit up a little bit. But that's where I got my start. That's what exposed me to the world of NFTs and um, going back to like, gosh, everything's blending in now. But like when the pandemic started, so that was. Or no, maybe I got into NFTs with Nifty Gateway even earlier because by the time the pandemic had started, I'd already dabbled into NFTs on Nifty Gateway. The and I didn't have a lot of money at the time, so it'd just be buying a few things on my credit card and hoping to flip it. I think I got one win with this fucking rabbit thing or something. I can look it up here at some point, but
We can
and
we
then I
can pull up
sold.
Nifty Gateway.
Yeah, I flipped a Dow Pigeon piece on Nifty Gateway too for like 800 bucks
Oh,
plus
was
or
that the
whatever, and
robber guy? The green robber looking guys, or like the blue one or whatever.
yeah, the dude with the
The
balaclava mask or what
with the little sack. I
the
don't even
yeah
know how to
the
spell
robber
dot
dude,
pigeon.
yeah.
There we go.
It's DOT pigeon, whatever. Uh,
Young and
but
sick.
yeah,
That kind
so
of that kind
I,
of looks
I'm
like your PFP, young and sick.
who are you talking about? Dot pigeon or
No, it was just showing off to the side some young and sick piece, and it kind of looks like your Twitter PFP. So was it one of these that you
oh yeah,
sold right here, the dot pigeons?
one of them. Trying to find my
This one's from May
history.
9th, 20. Here. I thought it was these little dudes were like his original. Oh, excuse me. Right here, I've robbed the bank. Was it this one?
No, it was
January.
this "Hey Alexa, tell everyone to fuck off" piece, and
Oh,
this was
nice,
three
nice.
twenty
Okay.
nine 21.
Okay, right here. My dark.
So I guess it was in early 21 is when I got into Nifty.
Here it
They
is.
still had some really exciting, like limited edition, open editions. I think people was still dropping a couple of his pieces there. Yeah, this was a really
There we
cool
go.
piece. Um, and of course, after being around for a while and learning, I didn't find any. I didn't win any of the auctions that were worthwhile. Like I didn't get any people pieces or anything like that. But whatever, I got exposed to NFTs. Period. So it's kind of the middle of the pandemic still. I've been doing some day trading in stocks and made some money there. And then I've been in the crypto space as a very far out like spectator way back since the days of like Silk Road. And I don't even remember what year that was, but Silk Road is
It's
what
like
exposed me to
2014,
like,
maybe something like that.
yeah, it was a little after I got out of college, and I'm showing my friends like, yo, look at this shit. You can go on this Tor browser and you can check out this marketplace where you can buy anything, like bricks of anything, and then you use these like cryptocurrencies to like buy, and people are like blown out. They're like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then I was too afraid to order anything off there, but
We all
I'd
were.
collected a few Bitcoin at the time, and so that was my exposure to the cryptocurrencies. I remember being at one of my friends' houses when Bitcoin was like $10 a piece. And I told them each, I was like, look, man, put one of these, put like $1,000 into this thing and just forget about it. You don't know what'll happen with it. It's the worst thing you could do is you lose, $1,000. Nobody believed me because of course we were partying at the time. I was, geeked out of my mind, and people are thinking, what kind of nonsensical bullshit is Ervis talking about here? So nobody took my word for it and did anything. That being said, I bought a bunch of Bitcoin and then I spent it on all sorts of dumb shit. But back to like 21,
Did you buy any pizza with it?
I found, I don't think I bought pizza with it, no, but I did online gambling with it. Like, there were these stupid Bitcoin casinos that are still around and I still have trouble with a lot. But so
What? Hold
I
on. What's
found
the one?
password.
There's like something. It's almost like a dice roll, and like I seen somebody like throwing like an Ethereum down. Like you bet money, and then you like roll dice and see if like it doubles or some shit like that. And I seen
There's
one
all
person just
sorts of
lose
shit.
like they threw a whole ETH at it and it was gone in like 10 seconds. I'm like, oof, that's pretty
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, shit go really fast. But there's all
Yeah.
sorts of games like flip coin or some shit to see like if you can get like, you know, if you can guess the flip, so many times in a row. And the more times in a row you guess it, the more the prize gets.
That's what I think I'm talking about. It's called, what is that called?
Yeah,
Flip coin?
I don't know, like flip coin or whatever. But there's all sorts of, Bitcoin, Ethereum casinos, online casinos where you can lose all your money. And my problem is I do, go on there often and I do win. Like I get up like crazy, but it's usually when I'm drunk as hell. And then I think I'm gonna keep going. And so I just give it all back and then I'm like out a bunch of ETH, which is pissed off, annoying. But whatever. So that all
Yeah,
being
kids,
said,
don't do
2021,
drugs.
don't do drugs, yes, or anything. But I find the password to this old wallet that I had from way back. And I find a few Bitcoin in there. And this was a few months after Bitcoin had gone down from like the 68 or whatever it was at its high to like 32, 33. I showed my dad my wallet. I was like, check this out, Dad. There's like 150,000 in cash in there, you know. And he's like, what the hell is this? I'm like, that's my money. He's like, what? I was like, I found it online. He's like, whatever. So that got me so hyped, and I'm like, all right, what do I do with this? I put some more into stocks. I paid off some debt, and then I did the whole degen thing. Everything that I tell my clients not to do, right? When I'm advising them on any meaningful financial related matters. But I think I'm like, hey, I'm a single guy. I've got no real obligations out there. I got time to earn it all back and whatever. So the whole degen mentality, and then I go all in on the stocks a little bit more and start buying way more on Nifty Gateway than I should. And I still haven't figured out like the whole MetaMask thing and the whole like OpenSea thing. But I'm getting back on Twitter because I was hardly ever on there. And all of a sudden this whole new world opens up. And immediately I get rug like three times in a row.
Oh yeah.
Because I set up my MetaMask
Yep.
and then and then I get into this Discord with somehow come across this Wisby guy.
Oh
And
shit.
and, and I'm
Is
not,
that the
not gonna talk
Karma
shit because
Chameleon?
it doesn't make any sense. The karma chameleons, the horn karmas, whatever. Like he's got these gummy bears, right?
I'm
And
pulling them
and
up.
he's an IRL artist. He's got a pretty decent following. I mean, he does these pretty cool bear sculptures, and so this is like my first real exposure to like true Web3
Sure.
in that I joined the Discord, right? I'm like all in on the community. I think December, November of 21, he has this karma key drop, and it was a burn. You burn these karma keys for these karma bears or whatever, these Wisby bears, and they're these 3D, NFTs,
Right
and
here.
I mean, I've got a yeah. Yeah, and the floor is so sad on it because there was. But, anyways, there's a lot of feelings that the community has about this project and how, they
This guy
think
even
we
has a
all think Wisby
jetpack.
did a terrible job. Yeah. But this is my first exposure. I mean, I go all in, like full time and attention through like 20 G's at this project, buying all these keys, giving a bunch of them away, trying to like promote the community even more, and then eventually it just gets so like annoying because the project keeps having these stalls and the devs aren't doing their thing, and oh, we got to go back and redo the contract and all this bullshit. And you know, the peak last year of NFT world is like passing us by, and they haven't even dropped the project yet. And then, shit's tanking, so they're like, I think they're using that as an excuse to like delay and hope that the pricing of Ethereum comes back a little bit. And next thing you know, they're eventually dropping, and all like desire for these things is gone. And now the floor is where it's.
But Irvis, don't you think that maybe 99% of all these NFT projects, all these NFT artists, do you think that they're all going to zero?
Well, it's interesting, right? And this is part of what I'm glad we're talking about because who am I, right? And why the hell did you pick me to join you on your Fumoverse radio here, right? And
It's
you don't have to
destiny.
answer that. I'm going to try to answer it myself, but
It's
but you can
destiny.
answer it too. The way I see it is, you're giving a participant of the community an opportunity to share his perspective. So my perspective, I'm not an artist, right? I haven't created anything yet. I haven't minted anything of my own. I haven't done any of that. Um, and so far I've been a spectator in the sense that I've just been watching from the sidelines, but also dabbling in to a good extent of some communities. So a mile deep and an inch long, or whatever the saying is, or the opposite. But the point is, I've been taking part as a member, not as a creator, and I'm not an influencer by any means. I don't have any type of following. I have a few friends I've made here, and I started out as a complete like speculator, right? I've never lied about it. I said, hey, I'm here to try and flip some shit and make some money, right? Because where there's greed, there's opportunity to be had, and it's the greater fool type of thing. And it's sad, because I have a conscience and I know that on the other end, somebody else is buying this, hoping that it goes up even higher, right? It's like fucking tulip mania. But, you know, I'm also like every one of us, a real person in the real world. I'm not a bot, so I've got feelings, emotions, and all that shit. And what I'm trying to get at when I'm talking about the WSB and my entry into the Web3 space, talk about like the levels of grief, right? Because you go into this thing, it's euphoric. You've got this whole community of people you barely even know, like just engaging. Everybody's all happy-go-lucky to the fucking moon, rocket symbols, right? Everything, all this shit. And in the back of your mind, when you step back, you're like, of course, all this shit's going to zero, or 99% of it, like you said. But, everybody has that hope that, no, my project is going to be the next, Bored Ape or Punks or whatever. So you buy into the hype. And some people are smart and can control their emotions enough to sell the hype or sell the news or whatever you want to call it, and flip and make money. I I've been I won't say unsuccessful, but not blown it out of the water by any means. If anything, I'm like barely even with all my investments. And if you
And
consider all the bags I'm holding now, I'm probably down. But
that
still, it's like,
that's not bad though, Irvis. I mean, I feel like a lot of people have just FOMO'd into things, maybe over leveraged themselves. I think it's a good lesson to if it's fine to take profit if you need to every once in a while. Some people think that I was talking to one guy. This was like a year ago, and they're like, if you still have bills, like you shouldn't even fuck around with NFTs. And it's like, okay, like I
yeah,
don't think that's like realistic. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe like 0.5% of the population doesn't have bills, but like we're real people, and it's like real people like have bills and upkeeps and things that they have to do. So it's like, I'm not gonna lie, I have bills and stuff like that, but I still mess around, and I think it's okay to have fun, and I also think it's not okay to buy so much shit you're like, oh my god, I have to sell this to like pay my rent. I don't think that's okay.
Right. I mean, any reasonable financial planner would tell you that, hey, you're more than welcome to choose any investment you want, whatever level of risk you could tolerate, and whatever your time horizon is, if you match those accordingly and you can be disciplined enough to control your emotions and take
100%.
all that out of the equation, then absolutely. If you've got your bills paid and you've got your savings account, set up, and you've got your emergency account, all this other nonsense, you know, then you can do whatever you want with that 10% or 5% or whatever's left over, right?
Yep.
As long as you're taking care of IRL obligations and all your other needs, then by all means, go into penny stocks for all I give a shit, right? Or buy some fucking ordinals right now. Get into the
That's
hype and lose it
hilarious.
all.
Lose it all. Love it.
But yeah, it's really tricky, man, because as much as I personally know all this shit, I fall victim to the emotions and the hype and all the nonsense myself.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm I'm no better than any other person. So I have definitely phoned it in. I mean, what I'm doing lately with my DJ self is watching Mint.fun, or there's this other place called NFT dot or NFTalerts.app, or you go on the other one, all of them,
What
like
is that?
Zora,
Mint
whatever
dot fun.
dot fun. Yeah. This has like a live feed of whatever's minting currently, right? And so I've got some stupid nonsensical criteria I use that I think like helps me determine if any of these mints are meaningful or
Oh yeah,
worthwhile.
I hear some
But
odious stuff. I've been seeing a lot about this odious one. This
right, so
green
like
one up at the
you
top.
click on that mint now button, and that gives you kind of like a preview. So the way I see this website is like an aggregator of live mints, right? And it gives you the opportunity to mint from here. I'd like to think it makes it a little safer, but you never know. You're still
Oh,
interacting with the
thanks for
same
sharing
contract.
this. Thanks for sharing with
Sure.
us.
So I go down to that OpenSea link, and then I see what's happening with it. You can see the holder count, all this other shit, and it's all like shots in the dark, right? Because it's a monkey throwing darts at the board and hoping for a win. Like happened with that merge VV thing that I told you offline before we started here. I'll mention it again. So Danya and I and a couple other people were on one of his spaces a couple months back, and somebody throws out the mint for this merge VV thing, and nobody knows anything about it. And next thing you know, Donnie starts to mint a few of them, and then I start competing with him on who can mint more. He mints a few hundred. I think I'd ended up minting like 600 of those fucking things, and of course nothing happens with them because they were free mints. And I don't even want to look it up now. Maybe we shouldn't even pull it up because I'll be so mad. But I uh, I forget about them. I put them in my hidden folder, and then like 2.5, 3 weeks ago, Danya DMs me saying, "Yo, sell your shit," and I see that they're at like 0.015, 0.02. So of course, I'm like, holy shit, I start listing them. I couldn't list them quickly enough. They're selling at like $30 a second. The biggest win I'd had in Web3 in like forever, right? Probably ever. So I start listing these things. And of course, the woulda, coulda, shoulda's happened like a week and a half later because they're somehow connected to those checks things, the visualized value dude and Jack Butcher or whatever. And then they skyrocket up to like 0.07. So I'm thinking, man, doing the math, like if I'd waited, 0.07 times six, fuck, I would have been rich. And yeah, these are the checks. But if you search for merge and then space VV, like you could pull up what those are at.
Right here,
Yeah,
0.03.
the 29,000 item ones. Yeah, yeah. So
Wow.
they're at 0.03, it looks like.
Uh huh.
0.027, 0.0325. Yeah. Holy fuck. Yeah. Had 600 of these fucking things. So even if I held on to them and sold them now, right, every time the checks would pump or move in some way, like these things would pump. And anyway, so what did I do with that money? Of course, I took some out. I put some aside for taxes. I paid some bills, and then I just T-gen right back into everything. But yeah, so that's my Web3 life. I got heavy into a couple of Discords, and of course, because I spent a lot of time there, people got to see all parts of Ervis, the happy-go-lucky, the nice, the asshole, the drunken rant person, and a lot of people have been really gracious and nice about it, because they know, okay, Ervis has other parts to him besides this, drunken asshole from time to time. Um, and one thing, one of my friends in this DAO that I'm part of was like, you know, if I worried about what some dude was typing on his keyboard a couple states away, like, do you think I'd have time to focus on my own life? And
That's good.
that's true to the extent that, hey, who gives a shit, right? But
Right.
I try not to be an asshole, right? I try to be a decent person and help people out. I did get heavy into the POC Discord once I was able to get in there when POC was opening up his portals. Love everything about POC. The mystery of it, the community. Um, I was watching from the sidelines very early on. So like yesterday, I was checking out a little bit of your conversation with Silver Surfer,
Yeah.
and that was from like 7 months ago. And boy, that dude's pretty wild too. And there's been so many emotions and thoughts and feelings shared in the park Discord when I was there about him and plenty of other people and the way that things have transpired. But
I
hearing
don't
some of
think
his
they
thoughts,
really
it's like,
know exactly what he did. Like I still feel like that is super selfless. He literally so Silver Surfer. If you watch the show, anybody here listening, he put up his one of ones. I think it was like a Fiwo one of one, a Pac one of one, maybe two Pac one of ones, and borrowed like $1 million of loan worth of against those
yeah,
pieces. And literally he took all that and bought up cubes and literally like artificially ran up the floor to like 20K. And to think about that, like think about there's pages of him buying these cubes. Pages from different people and different entities. So it's like those people got that $20,000 or some even like 30,000. And it's like that could have
yeah.
been like a game changer for that person. So for me,
Oh fuck yeah.
I feel like I'm like I know okay, we're not all perfect people, but like that selfless act was badass. We've all done bullshit and like I think he did a great job. So, whatever else happened,
I don't know. Look,
that's history. So,
yeah, I'm not here to judge and bring up any old things, but I want to believe that people are nice and kind and altruistic in a lot of ways, but at the same time, I know that selfishness comes into play and greed comes into play. And
sure.
kudos to fucking Silver or anybody else who's smart enough. I mean, it sounded like the guy's been around forever in the ether world, so I'm sure he probably has like 1,000 ETH stashed away at like $5 a piece or less,
Probably
right?
more.
And of course, if you've got that kind of money laying around at this point, you're playing games as opposed to chasing, you know, a fucking lottery ticket like me and a bunch of other DJs are doing, right? And you can do, I hate to use this word because it doesn't apply to him. So allegedly, right? Market manipulation, things like that. I mean, to me, that sounded straight up like, what the fuck? This guy just created all the FOMO, bought all the shit, and then on the back end was scalping it in some way. And again, kudos to him for being wise and smart enough to be able to do that. That's when I started to see pot, right? When cubes were going for like 15,000 on Nifty Gateway, and dudes were minting like 100 cubes at a time for 100,000. Like, are you fucking kidding me? What are these things about? Like, what are these people doing? And of course, I didn't read into it to like learn much about POC, but I was just attracted to like the FOMO part of it and the money that was being spent. Um, I didn't have enough money at the time, and I wasn't like ballsy enough to buy, $15,000 cube. So I didn't get into it. Um, I got into the POC world when the Ash 2 drop came around, really. That's when I started buying. Well, before that with Merge. I did go heavy in on Merge, spent, thousands on that. And then
Oh, how many merch
and
did
then
you
like
get?
the NFT space. I think early on, I think I got like 11 or 14 or something, and that was a lot for me because I think I bought it like the $400 mark or something. So I spent like 4 or 5 thousand on the first drop, and then I FOMO'd in with another 5, 10,000 after it.
Hmm.
So I had a good bit of money into it. But NFT space is still really hot. I couldn't afford much else. I'm buying a bunch of nonsense, and I've got, a ton of dead things in my Nifty Gateway and also my OpenSea accounts. But then the market starts tanking a little bit, and I can finally start affording some more POC pieces. So I get into the Ash 2 drop, and that becomes a disaster. I spent like 3 or 4 ETH, which again was a lot of money for me at the time on that shit. And I think I got like 3 pieces, and I don't know. three or four pieces, and then I bought a few more. And I think if you look up my OpenSea account is like the ones that's tied to my ledger is Ervis used NFT something or other. Yeah, there we go. Because I was joking with a few people I'm friends
Nice.
with from the
You got
from
some
the
cool shit, dog.
yeah,
You got some
yeah.
cool shit.
A few things, yeah. But these are some things that I'm hanging on to hope this, you know,
You got a
again,
carbon,
I'm in
bro.
this for the fucking money. Yeah, I got that from Kulo
You
last
got
year because he
Coldy,
needed
dude.
it.
Man, you got some good ass shit. You got a node by Zomax. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like that.
definitely. Like that piece a lot. I have five of the Form One pieces right now. I'm trying to morph that Dell piece, but people are telling me I'm better off like holding on to them as Form Ones for now and maybe selling them later one by one. I don't know. But yeah, so
Whatever floats
so
your
I
boat.
joined I joined the POC Discord and the POC world, after or right around the Ash 2 drop and all the dramas happening, the Ash 2 fiasco, and people are like all pissed off. I'm loving it because I'm finally able to join the POC community, which I thought was like the super exclusive club forever. And so whatever, I go all in on that, and then after a while, I like have so much of it, or I have too much of it. And one day I just left because I needed to do something to get away from it. So yeah, I got heavy into the Aku stuff. And of course, I had a few of the Aku OG passes. These things go up to like 15,000. I mean, I had like 40,000 worth of Aku passes at one point, and I was itching to like, sell them so bad, but I'm still relatively new to the world. So people are like, oh, don't fade Aku, don't fade Aku, don't sell Aku, don't, people are thinking those fucking Aquitars are gonna go skyrocket even higher. I mean,
They're
chapter
gonna go to a
three or
million.
four, yeah, fucking insane. 15,000 of these pieces times a million. What kind of market capitalization is that? What are we talking about? Fucking Google here? Like it's crazy, man. Because there's no
It's good.
rationality at all, and it was just complete hype. But of course, being the degen that I am, I listen to some of other people, and I hang on to them. I hodl them like crazy, and then they lock up $15 million in the contract, and it's like, oh, what the fuck? Come on, which is insane. It's like, how are you really?
What do you mean they locked up 15 million in the contract?
So they airdropped a bunch of chapter holders, right? So there was the 10 chapters that they had that they dropped on Nifty Gateway throughout the year. And again, like chapter one and I think chapter three were going for like 30, 40, $50,000 because there were so few of them. Like these were all open edition chapters, but a few early ones didn't catch that much traction, so there weren't that many minted. And to be a moon god or whatever they called it, you had to have all 10 chapters. And so a lot of hype on that because then you would get like these different levels of the Aquitars, like regular Aquitars, OG and Moon God Aquitars passes. And the way that they had done it was they airdrop passes to everyone so there wouldn't be like this gas war, they
That's
thought, right?
nice.
That was really nice. And everybody got their passes airdropped, but there were a total of 15,000 of these Aquitars that they'd made, and there was only like, I don't know, 11,000 or 11,500 of the actual passes that they'd gotten airdropped. So they wanted to capture some more of the money, on the remaining Aquitars that didn't have chapters tied to them. And so they had a Dutch auction or some shit. But whoever had set up their contract had screwed this shit up so bad to the point where all the money that the contract made from selling those, leftover Aquitars got locked up in the contract forever. So it turned into like $15 million being locked up in that contract. And that was the 15 million they were going to use in addition to whatever else they'd sold already with the chapters throughout the year,
Are
to
you
build the
serious?
Aquitar world and this company and all
They
this.
they can't ever get that
15
money out of
fucking
there?
million, man. Maybe fucking Chris, maybe Man Bun Silver Surfer can figure it out, but I don't think anybody has. And it's crazy because we're all watching it live,
Nahiko,
and
where are
some
you?
dude, yes, some dude who's like watching it with us, right? I'm minting and all this shit, much smarter person than everybody else, reads the contract and he's like, dude, you've got an error in here, you better fix this. And they're all fading him like, oh, this dude's just fudding, fudding, fudding. And then 15 minutes later, they're like, oh shit. And then all of a sudden, my $40,000 Akatar Pass collection turns into like $5, you know. Um, but yeah, Web3, just like everything else. So
Wow.
don't get caught up in
I
the hype.
never heard about that. That's interesting, man. Thanks for bringing that up. I never knew the
Well,
$15 million got locked up with the
this
Akuto.
was really big news, man, because like Aku was Aku. And look, a lot of people, and I still have Akutars, believe in him and his mission and all that, and I think he's gonna do good. That they're always like, what's the word? They're always like saying that they may have some relationship with Disney, and I don't know if any of it is true, but it could turn into something still. But in terms of Web3 and what happens from there, everybody, a lot of people got fucked, you know. But
Yeah,
to the point
sure.
earlier
A
about
lot of
Silver
people
Surfer,
are
those,
fucked.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, so let's move on from there because I can talk about my nonsense forever. I had made a couple of notes, but it's on your agenda. Um, I talked a little bit about my Web3 journey here. I mentioned POC a little bit. Um, at one point, I, you know, again, the whole levels of grief, right, and getting pissed off and happy and sad and angry and all that. I had my thoughts about POC and, of course, the Wisby project and Aku and everything else that happened with that, which was out of their control, but still lost some money. Um, at one point, I was asking people to do a collab with me and put out a project called Scandals. Instead of the Wisby Vandals, have it be
That's
Scandals, where I would
hilarious.
take everybody's project that I felt like I was drugged and make a collection and throw up a free mint before free mints came to be, the next cool thing. But I have no artistic, abilities and I don't know how to use Solidity to any extent, and I'm too lazy to learn it. And so
They make a lot of
so that
easy
never got off
tools
the
right
ground.
now. I actually deployed my first contract. I think it was like right before OpenSea came out and said that they were like cutting off royalties for new contracts after like January 2nd, unless
Okay.
unless you add this thing called a open API filter. Now
Hmm.
again, I'm not a dev or anything like that, but Manifold makes really easy tools. Literally, you can just like sync it to your wallet, and literally you
Yeah.
can like mint whatever you want to mint. It's really simple. So guys, for any of you that want to make your own projects, go to Manifold. You do not have to have any experience. It's super easy to set up. Full shilling.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, the tools are all out there and people are making it even easier. So, I think if anybody has any artistic wherewithal and they can afford to spend maybe 2 weekends on learning all they can about Manifold and smart contracts and, you know, Web3 markets, they could I can see I don't know. I feel like there's still an opportunity in Web3 for somebody that wants to be anonymous or not to be able to use the tools that are available and the social engineering at their fingertips to really create a lot of hype and pull a lot of a lot of Ethereum from the system for their own personal gain, which is what a lot of people are in for. Of course, you got the purists who say, "I'm just in it for the art, man, the art, man." Like, good for you, man. Good for you. Nobody's judging. Um,
Did
but
you end
then,
up seeing
there's other.
my first piece that I minted? Did you end up seeing it?
I must have at some point,
I
but I
gave it
don't remember.
away. I gave it away.
Okay.
So it was
You gotta
free.
give it away.
It was free. I didn't want to. I didn't want it to seem like it was like a cash grab or and everybody's just making open editions right now, and it's just like, I really don't. I'm not like desperate or anything, so I just kind of did this for fun. I named it Dead Space. Originally,
Hmm.
it's all on canvas. I did use some dolly and printed it out and cut it out and pasted it to the canvas using like Mod Podge or something. And then, some of the other like side effects, the list that you see up at the top right, those actually have like somewhat of a meaning in the Web3 space. Like, I know you can't see, but the top just says free. The second one says keck. Third one says burn. Fourth one says allow list. Fifth one says
Yeah.
10K. The sixth one here, and I have this on the agenda, open edition season. Then I just wrote some bullshit here. The death of the dollar. Um, you got rug, actual meant and utility. So it's kind of cool. Like this piece right here, I gave away. I did a little fun thing called 24 entries. So basically, it
Okay.
was just like I posted some random tweet, had nothing tied to it, and was like, "Hey, whoever likes this tweet," or I was like this tweet. So people like this tweet, and I was like, "Okay, comment here. You have 24 hours." And so for those of the people that listen to the instructions, I actually
Yeah.
locked the tweet after 24 hours, and I made this list, and it was 24 people, and I named
Hmm.
it 24 entries. And so like my last, yeah, my last show I just did with Hildebroom, which Ervis, you got to check out Hildebroom. He is a badass dude. He curates a lot of brand new artists that are emerging, and he knows a ton of alpha. So for those of you guys that are wanting to see new artists, please go follow Hildebroom. That's Hildabroom. He's a badass dude. Um, so anyway, so out of the 24 entries, I did a raffle. So I like put it on the show.
Okay.
I was like, hey, 24 people are on here, and Ricky Reiser actually won the piece. So I thought that was badass because he's like a pretty big deal in the Dell community. I don't know if
Okay.
he's still in the pot community, but like he's I think he collects Azuki. He's like a badass dude. So I'm like, I'm really
Good.
happy that this guy has my work. You know what I mean? And
Hell yeah.
I specifically messaged him and I was like, hey man, like, if you ever sell this, like, that's totally fine. But I was like, please let me know because, like, I might want to buy it back. So, anyways, like, that's just like a real quick rundown of like my first piece. I'm gonna keep working on in my artistic expression and sharing with the world like what I think is art to me, and like I'm just gonna like keep pushing stuff out. I don't think I'm gonna do an open edition. I keep posting tweets that's like not an open edition. I don't know, like I think it's okay to do open editions. Like, you have the masters at their craft, like Pac, Nest Graphics just had
Yeah.
his open edition, Trevor Jones. You have these like OGs. I am like all for them doing an open edition because it opens up, their audience. So that way
Yeah.
newcomers that like the work can come in and buy their stuff. Now, whether, is it going to hold the floor or is it going to moon? I have no fucking clue, but like if you really want their stuff, like it's a cool chance to get into their work. On the other side, have you ever heard of the
Yeah.
artist Tijo?
I've seen the tweets. I think they were part of the or they are part of the pod community, right? Or,
No, he's his own artist. So Tijo
oh,
right here,
okay.
you might have heard of. I think it's either blue or blah, blah. It's the blue background. It's sold at super rare, for like 69 ETH. It's his one of one. That was like his
Jeez.
last auction that he had. I can pull it up here so people can look at it. But yeah, all of here it is right here. Blah. Yeah, this is all on Canvas. Um, so yeah, he put this up for auction. It was sold for 69 ETH, which right now is 118,000. Um,
Jeez.
but yeah, no, it basically from what I've gathered from him is he painted this as like a self-portrait of himself, and that's just kind of like
Okay.
his emotions. And it was really interesting. Like I just listened to one of his shows and he was saying like, because all of his work to me looks like super dark, but he was saying it's not really meant to be dark. Like the red stood for like energy, and that we should just try to look past the aesthetics. And I was kind of like, what does that even mean? But like, if you think about it a little deeply, like, you kind of think beyond the image, and I think
Well, how is this
that's.
related to open
Go ahead.
editions? I'm not following you with this one.
So okay, so the back to the open edition. So Tijo has super limited editions. This one's a 22 out of 22. Um,
Yeah.
he did this one, Call Me 69 out of 69, In My Room 33 of 33. He actually made the pledge that he's not going to do an open edition. And like
Okay.
these are his editions. So like if you want to come into his work, it is kind of a high entry. I mean, you're going to have to spend 1 ETH to come into this ecosystem. But, it's just interesting.
But
Oh,
don't you
go ahead.
see that that's their fucking strategy, man. Everybody has their own strategy. Plus,
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like the only people pissed off about open editions are degens that aren't seeing the flips happening like they were hoping, right? Because they see all these big names, and I'm a fucking degen myself, so I aped into a couple open editions horribly, and I got out on some of them just in time to break even. A couple of them went up higher than I sold back, sold them at, but whatever. I know what I'm getting into as a speculator, for the flip. I think that's the same people that are like pissed off about open editions and calling them cash grabs and all this shit. Because at the
that's
end of the day,
funny.
if I'm an artist, I'm trying to make money and I'm going to use whatever tools and whatever, systems are available for me to capture as much of people's eyeballs as possible. You know,
Yeah, see right
if you're
here it
really in it
says
for the art, like the purist.
GN, enjoy what I've mented. The season is over. Peace. And then he puts, it's time to start releasing the one of ones I've worked on for months on soon. So it's just really
Right, but
interesting to
anyway,
me to
this
see,
guy.
people that, do the open edition. Some people are like, I'm against minting out, I want to keep it super exclusive. And I think that's kind of like what I'm thinking, just keep it real super exclusive. Now, obviously this dude, he could mint out, over 10,000 editions in a second. You know what I'm saying? Like people like his work, but he chooses to be reserved and not to, which is just interesting to see both sides. That's all I'm trying
Yeah,
to
but
get.
again, that's the same thing. It's like, do you want to sell fewer pieces for a higher price, or do you want to try and sell a ton of pieces for a lower price, right? If you're selfishly looking at it from the money aspect, and I can't fade any of these people, the artists, the creators, whatever, that are making money, because what the hell, man? I'm in it for the same thing. Sure, I can learn to appreciate art, and I have a few pieces that I'd love to hang on to. But if somebody offered me 10x what I paid for them, I'd get rid of all that shit right now, right? And the thing is, if everybody understands where they fit into the big picture, then they can't be mad about anything, because you know, you play your part. And if you don't like the role you're stuck in, then okay, change perspectives, or get out of the thing altogether. You know? I mean, the thing with Merge, for example, and people being so pissed off that it's down 90%. It's like, well, you've had every opportunity to get out of it.
There's been a
Pac
lot of
didn't put a
opportunities,
gun
right?
to your head. I mean, none of these artists put a gun to my head to say buy my shit. So it's all on me. I mean, speaking for myself, everything's all on me. I can be mad that people didn't meet certain, promises that they made, or they hit roadblocks and all this shit. But if somebody's just putting art out there, or like a cool project like Merge, and say, hey, play along with this game that I'm not going to tell you anything about, and make of it what you will, then that's up to each person to accept some responsibility. Um, the thing with the whole Ash 2 drop, and then the manipulation that happened with actual Ash token itself. I mean, I saw that 3 weeks before the lead up to the Ash 2 drop, as Ash was fucking rocketing. And I'm not claiming anybody, but probably somebody like Silver Surfer rode that fucking wave all up. And then he ended up not minting Ash 2 at all, and just dumping, who knows, dumping a bunch of Ash. And he said, oh, well, I was buying this other token, so I didn't have to dump more. I'm like, fuck off, whatever. But anyways, the point is,
No, 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 no,
there's
no, no,
there's
no.
all
He had to sell his ash to actually cover the one of one bills.
his loan.
Yeah, or else they would have
Right.
taken it as one of ones.
Right, but so here you are borrow money to prop up these NFTs, and then these NFTs are backed by this, or it's kind of like entangled with this token currency, right? And everything's intertwined. So like as you manipulate one variable, other fucking variables get impacted.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're trying to loop it back forward so you can rob Peter to pay Paul and
That's
then
funny.
still look like a fucking angel to the community that you're robbing over here and then moving it over here to rob other people. Whatever. Fuck. I don't care. That's, my stupid rudimentary understanding of what he did and what
It
happened. But
already
the point I'm
happened.
trying to
Like,
make is
it is what it
right.
is.
Regardless of whether it could be
Probably
Silver Surfer, it could be anybody else.
somebody else could do the same thing, and it would happen again. I'm pretty sure. Like,
Exactly. That's
literally,
what I'm
it could
saying.
take
Is
one
anybody could,
person to come in, buy up all this shit. They got I don't know, $5 million, buy everybody's bags, everybody's temporarily, yeah, we're going up, and then boom, it could all be over.
and then they dump it like that prank she did I think a couple of days ago, started dumping a bunch of aquatars and all this other shit,
Oh, okay.
which is crazy because you got these, the way I see it, you got these ETH gazillionaires, right, who
Right.
got into ETH in
The
2014
whales.
and probably got it like pennies on a dollar, and they can market manipulate their way to anything, and it's all insider bullshit, right, because everybody is got the alpha on the inside, and they're just watching like peasants at play is how I feel.
Yep.
And I'm one of the peasants, right?
Oh, same here, brother.
But
I'm just a lousy old
but
radio show guy.
yeah, but we have opinions, so we share thoughts from time to time. I can't be mad at anybody like Pac or any other artist, as much as it pains me because my bags are, getting heavier and heavier with some of the things. It's all part of the game we're playing here. And if you're mad about it, then I don't know, do something. But ultimately,
Go,
take some personal
go
responsibility
touch some
because
grass if you're mad, bro.
yeah, yeah. And I have some grass I need to touch soon. But
Oh, do you
um,
do you have grass inside too?
yeah, no,
Okay.
not the kind of grass we're talking about. The kind that y'all have
Funny.
legalized over there fully, man. So mad. Here in Ohio, we're still medicinal only. But yeah, man. So look, I'm just little Ervis over here in my corner, screaming into the void, and sometimes people hear me and they talk back, and it's been interesting, man. I've met some really cool people along the way. I mean, like the room that Danya set up, his Discord, and
That's cool.
his room.black, um, which I don't know if you ever heard the story, but I early on I got on one of the spaces when Silver Surfer was talking. Like he was trying to promote his fucking market or whatever he was trying to set up. And I don't know why I'm talking so much shit about Silver Surfer because I just watched this video with you yesterday, but he was on this spaces talking about this market that he was trying to set up, the Ash Marketplace,
Hmm.
which never, you know, came up. But
I don't think it
anyways,
did anything,
he's
but whatever.
yeah, he's trying to promote his market, and then somehow I don't know why, but these people put me up on stages all the time. Like I get on these spaces and I'm randomly
Oh,
like
I
just
know. I would
accepted
listen
to
to
be
you all
on.
the time.
And so I'm like, all right, well, here we go. And I'm fucking a couple beers in and I'm talking nonsense and I basically pulled a Kanye on him. I'm like, look, I'm gonna let you finish whatever you're saying about your stupid marketplace, but have y'all seen Danye's The Room Black website? Like that shit is amazing, man. Like people in the Ash community are creating. And then I repeat myself several times, and then I'm like, all right, you can go back to whatever you're trying to say there, Silver.
That's
And
funny.
that's how I got introduced to Danye's little group of friends, and that's been really cool. So, talk to those guys and girls regularly. I've got this little DAO group that kind of branched off of from the Wisby Discord, and it's crazy because very few of these people I met at NFT NYC when I went there last year in person, right? So 99% of them, I've never seen their face. I don't know, what they're like in real life, but some really fucking solid friends, which is great because you can talk about anything else besides NFTs with these people. Um, yeah, it's a whole community vibe thing that people always talk about, and it sounds corny, but I'm happy to be a part of it.
Oh, that's
It's
awesome, man. We're all
you'll
glad to have you part of the community, brother. So real
hell yeah.
quick, because we're almost running up on an hour. I know it just flies by. One thing I wanted to just kind of make everybody aware about. Pac did have I think it's still ongoing. It's a donation for Turkey. They just had a pretty, really, really extremely bad earthquake. And I read somewhere yesterday that it killed like 20 or 30,000 people. I mean, that's really
Yeah, it's crazy,
serious.
man.
So, if you guys can, there's a website here you can donate. It's for the Turkey earthquake. There's also other, artists that do this too. So, anyways, just wanted to bring that up. I don't mean to dim the mood down at all, but wanted to share that before
Oh
we
no, man,
hopped out
it's for a
there.
great cause, and it's amazing that Pac can yield some of that support from the
Yep.
community. I mean, it just goes to show for all the futters out there talking shit about Pac this, Pac that. It's like, look, man, Pac is still revered in the community. Everything that's happening is what Pac has started and brought to the world for us to do and play with. So, um, kudos to them. I wanted to mention there's this. I'm sorry to give like promotional shit, but there's this new project I've been following. This guy named Andrew what the hell's his name? Um, oh yeah. It's called Field Trip and Block Party by Andrew McWay.
Is it on OpenSea?
Yeah, Field Trips is on there. It's two words, Field Trip. Um, this is some really cool stuff, and it's along the lines of um, the Fidenza stuff, and of course nobody's gonna duplicate Fidenzas, but I think it's a pretty cool project, and he's got a new drop coming in the near future here. They told me that I can give away two whitelists or allow lists to the new project. Um, if you feel like you know getting in on it and you like some of this work he's doing right now, let me know. The new project's kind of similar, but it can be a little different. It's really cool. And the reason why I bring this up is because the DJ in me believes that there's something there with this project.
So
And
here, so
and
there's people in the comments. Um, we got the Jeffrey GMGM. We got Anonymous One that says Pac rugged us. Not sure who that is. Whatever. And then we also have Space Monk, which Space Monk has been like a day one supporter. So shout out Space Monk. Hit up
oh
Ervis
yeah,
for the whitelist if you're interested. I want to give that one to you
yeah.
specifically. And then I don't know. Whoever the Jeffrey is, hit up Ervis. There's your two, brother.
Yeah, well, yeah, either those two or anybody else.
Yeah,
I
whoever.
I'm
Whoever
not
hits
being
hits
picky,
him up the quickest.
but aside from the art being pretty cool and him being a nice dude, the interesting thing is he was revealed as the artist behind that project that I sent you.
Oh yeah.
The
Hmm.
whatever the what the hell's the pre-mint registration for,
It
right?
was the
So
Tesla one.
talk about creative ways, right? I mean, it's all game theory, man. It's all about figuring out what are fucking people gonna, you know, kind of gravitate to, and how are they gonna deal with it? Because merge is a game theory game, right? And this new thing that I'm talking about, which I'm blinking out on the name of, it's something circuits. They're doing a free mint for like 1,500 or so pieces, and I don't remember exactly how it works, but basically, if you get to mint that, you get a ticket that you can burn for a chance of winning a Tesla. It's like, okay, if I'm picked in this lottery, I can, have this opportunity to potentially win a Tesla as a $50,000 car. But you know what? The game theory part of it says, hey, where's that fucking NFT going to skyrocket to once it's minted out and people want to buy that potential share of a, chance to win a Tesla, right?
That's cool. The whale's
Add
gonna
to
win
that the
it.
fact that
The one that buys like
who
a
knows?
hundred probably gonna win it.
Yeah, but then at some point, if the as the price is going up, the numbers don't make sense, right? So you could be the biggest whale, but it's like, well, what the fuck am I gonna do? Buy $50,000 of NFTs
You
so
could have
I
bought
can
the fucking
win a
Tesla.
$50,000 car? You know,
All
there's a
right.
crossover point, but
All right,
yeah.
brother. All right.
So
Well, hey, again, thank you
good
so
stuff,
much
man.
for coming on here. Appreciate you sharing your thoughts with the NFT market. how things are going for you, man. If anybody wants to find you, where can they find you?
Just Ervis the Great, man, on Twitter. I'm on there pretty regularly. I engage with people, and sometimes when they catch me after dark, you know, I get a little antsy and start talking shit. So
That's hilarious.
watch out.
Hilarious. Thanks for coming on, brother. And you have a good rest of your
For sure.
Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. Go Browns. All right. Are we?
I'm hollowed out where a bright crutch used to be. I'm shredding my skin like you wouldn't believe. I couldn't help myself, I just needed to breathe while I lived vacant in a memory. Never thought I'd ever be back. Never thought I'd ever be last. I'm selfish with time, it's my only worth. Cause I'm feeling really outmatched while I'm dealing with the contrast. Far from me, that's hard for me. Tread carefully. I'm tongue tied inside with a little bit of love mixed in to mold myself this solitude. I live and pretend like I'm never gonna need a friend again. I keep myself intact. Drift away to a place that's not so harrowing. To the back plate of my mind, digging up what's left to find. With the bar set way too high for me, I'm bound to sink uncomfortably. I'm tongue-tied inside with a little bit of love mixed in to mold myself this solitude. I live and pretend like I'm never gonna need a friend again. I'll keep myself intact. busy counting down the days. Cause I could really use a break from carrying this weight around my neck. I stress and overcompensate for what's next. Yeah, we can cross that bridge in time. Yeah, we can cross that bridge in line. Write me off like you never had the pen at all. Unfinished stories line the walls you built in my head. Fade away like I never even came to spark. I wasted all my time distracted by the wrong wealth. I always thought I had it figured out all for myself. I ran for miles just to come out and just short. So write me off like you never held the pen at all. Selfishly relying on myself to fill all of the holes you dug inside my brain. There's no escape. With no frame of time, I'm losing track of mine. To crush my priceless gift right in front of me, I sink into unconsciousness, dissociating from the world outside my head. It's not so hard to hide from you. I'm stuck in place, my in strange space. Cause you never wanna speak the truth, and I never wanna see you through. Pick up the pace, I feel misplaced inside this null space. Cause you never wanna speak the truth, and I never wanna see you through. My strongest link leads on the chain. Yet it's cracked, rusted, and cold, but there's not much else to show. That's where I